How many times does it rain?
Every freaking day.
I mean, the weather's been it's amazing. I mean, I'm living in Mississippi. This has been kind of the coolest it's been, hasn't it?
Yeah, it's supposed to be 80s all week.
Wow.
It's beautiful.
Yeah.
How does that affect y'all's schedule? I mean, you
Well,
aren't
the
able
rain-
to stay consistently on the
Well, the
farm.
rain puts us inside, and then when it puts us inside, we adapt. So, I mean, we don't change, the schedule or anything like that as far as throwing the ball, running the ball. We stay on the same schedule. It just, going inside, you kind of miss the humidity and the heat as a coach, not as a player, I'm sure, but as a coach you do.
Coach Mullen talked about the scrimmage last week and a lot of drops, kind of some stuff that bothered him on offense. What did you kind of see? And
The same thing, at the wide receiver position, we struggled a little bit. They're young kids. They're coming along. It's their first scrimmage, a lot of those guys' first time in the stadium. Just need to keep pushing them, keep developing them, and, Billy will do a good job getting them ready to play.
Coach ran through a long list of guys who are either dinged up or not available right now at receiver. How's that throwing a kink into your
Big
practices?
kink. Well, you're asking now a really, really young kid to come in and play, and, we can't meet with him over the summer. So all of a sudden he's having to learn everything, do everything, and then all of a sudden he has to figure out why. Well, he never gets to the why part. He learns how to do it, and then, what to do. And then about the time the coverage changes and everything's new, so you just got to keep drilling. Repetition will get you better.
By contrast, you got a bunch of veteran running backs.
Sure do. They really do a nice job. There in quarterback, in O-line, we're kind of veteran in those two positions, so it's a lot easier in our meeting rooms. I mean, when we go to our meeting rooms, the retention there's easier. It's easier to teach the young kids because the older kids have been through.
Jeff Collins talked the other day about some of his young linebackers starting to anticipate things, learning that process. Kind of from the offensive standpoint, do you see your running backs maybe anticipating, like, the holes opening or the running lanes to hit and stuff like that?
Perk has been running the ball really, really well. And I think it's really critical for us in that area. We're pushing the ball to run it. It's going to obviously help our passing game when you run the football.
Yeah.
Everybody in the country tells you how about they want to throw the football. If you have no running game, you're not going to win. You got to run the football, and that'll open up so much more stuff for you.
But as far as Josh and Derek, do you just kind of see them making that better progress?
Derek was dinged up a little bit too.
Right.
So I mean, he missed a couple rests, but again, those are veteran backs. It's been through it. They understand the path. They understand the reads. They know where to go.
Yeah.
Those younger guys are learning. I tell you, Shump now. Shump's learning, and if you get in his way, he's going to run over you. I'm telling you that right now.
He literally stands out because you got a bunch of compact, good, fast physical runners, but he's more like old school, tall, long strider.
Reminds you of Booby a little bit when you look at him. He really does. I mean, he's that physical demeanor there.
It seems like in high school he was really good at finishing runs, which I guess he comes in kind of somewhat polished in that regard.
He does. I mean, I've been very pleased with his effort. As we go through, there's been some mistakes, which Greg's got him corrected and going to the next step with him. But he's just learning. Just like Damien, the same way Damien's learning going through. Damien asked me, he says, "Coach, I got to learn all these plays." I said, "Yeah."
How valuable is it for you've got a Perkins, obviously, that you're going to count on it closer you get to game week, but this time of year, for guys like Milton, even though he's dinged up, or Josh Robinson,
Absolutely.
This is their chance, and Griffin for that week.
Absolutely great. And Nick, I tell you, he's been coming around. You watch him; he's pushing through it. Obviously, he's got to get that knee and push through some things. There's going to be a little bit of swelling there, but he's, hadn't missed a beat. He's come out there every time. And Josh and Derek both have been dinged up a little bit, but at that position, you're pretty much going to get hit now.
We talked to Jeff about how much Tyler is valuable testing a defense, especially let's flip it vice versa with what they're doing on defense. How valuable is that both to you, Tyler, and all the other guys in offense?
It's absolutely great. I mean, they're giving you a bunch of different looks defensively, so it prepares you for the season throughout. I mean, he comes up and there's so many things happening at the snap of the ball. It's just not a base vanilla defense. So it really prepares us to see a lot of things.
with Dak missing the spring, kind of talk about how you've approached him.
You're going to laugh about this. Okay, we went out there with Dak, and we put a boot on him just to protect him a little bit, for one practice, and he threw the ball better with the boot on than he did without it. And I said, "Why?" He said, "Because I've been practicing all summer with the boot on." Well, that made a lot of sense to me, So, we're, as you well know, we're watching him, but he's doing really, really well, and we did it for precautionary measures only. I mean, we didn't do it. Today he's out there full going. So we're not. I'm really proud of what he's doing. He's really. Again, he's anxious. You can see him out there. We had some fun today.
I know you don't want to give too much away on that, but could you see Dak getting even more playing time this year, having the experience and easing the load on
It's the same
Tyler?
thing. Yeah, if you remember with Chris, Tyler, both of those guys that we had, we were going to play them,
Yeah.
within the game. And I think we'll have the same plan for Dak too. We'll have a series that we can get him in there playing, get him used to go. He's had his time where, just like with Tyler, we developed him, we played him, and we put ourselves in a situation that it's not new to him when he just shows up.
You said you guys had fun today. What made it fun? What aspects?
Oh, we were competing against the defense. It was first down scrimmage, had run, play, action. There was plays on both sides of the ball, so everybody was jumping around, having a good time. And it was a little cool. It wasn't just dreadly hot, when we walked out there.
What's the process like getting to just trust Dak's arm more in big situations?
Oh, it's good. The arm is there. I think, mechanically, and he knows this, clearing his hips and doing some things, staying on balance, and he'll feel more comfortable with it, because he's thrown some really good balls. If you look back in the LSU game and some of those things like that, he really has.
Were there any